Hello and welcome back to Centrify Patterns for Just in Time, Just Enough, and any other privileged access requests. And we're still in part four, focusing on shared accounts. And we're exploring a pattern in which we're combining both server suite and privileged access service. And what we're doing is we're using a shared account that is provisioned directly from the Centrify zone. It's vaulted within privileged access service, but they have been provided roles within direct authorize or Centrify's Active Directory based RBAC. Let me just show you what these accounts have been pre-provisioned with so you can see the functionality in action. So let's start with Windows. Windows, we have our machine is joined to the zone, right? That means that it has to adhere by the access control rules set up in the Centrify zone. In the Windows data node, if you're using version 2020, you'll notice that there's in this case, a Win local ADM account that has been pre-provisioned. This account will be provisioned automatically on all Windows systems that join that zone. And with the integration, they will be vaulted inside the Centrify paths. So notice that this account has been vaulted here. This will facilitate any shared account capabilities. This is the requested account that we did in the previous video. In Unix, we have the same. We have a user called localadmin-a. On the Windows side, this is going to explore later. But when we look at local users, notice that we have a Unix local ADM to beacon system, and we have a demo group that has been pre-provisioned. So that being said, that means that these accounts have to be explicitly granted, in the case of the Unix account, a role that allows the user perform certain functions. And in the case of the Windows system, a role that allows the machine to log in. In this case, should the Windows machine be compromised, lateral movement will be limited to the accounts, to the systems that have been granted the login function here. So this provides additional layers of security. So let's just see it in action. So our user Lisa, let's say she needs to log into the system. All she needs to do is right click and notice that the login is set. So she'll be able to log in and perform functions in this account. And when we do the verification, we'll be able to do the correlation between the local HCR account that's being used and the user, the AD user using it. So let me just do a notepad. And I'm going to just running some commands here. Okay, so that being said, I perform my actions. I'm going to go ahead and sign out. In the case of Unix Linux, I'm just going to do the same request from here. So in this case, I should just be able to use it because I have access to it. It's been granted. So initially, another secret as a mechanism for MFA, which is not MFA. So the access is going to be here, and notice that I'm able to log in. In this particular case, very different than Windows, where you had to pre-provision, let me just close this, where you had to pre-provision some rights, and only the access control has been enforced. And here, not only the access control has been enforced, but this user needs to use DZDo. So DZDo is based on sudo, right? So DZDo to perform any function. So for example, AD flush can only be run by root. This user has been granted this capability. And in this particular pattern, the command that was constructed was not constructed with requiring multi-factor or requiring a password, because then you would require the user to have to check out the password for the user. So when you set up this type of pattern, you want to make sure that you don't re-authenticate the user, but you're using a mechanism like a workflow or multi-factor to be able to use that account. And obviously, by rotating the password, even if it's named the same across different systems, um, lateral movement is being limited by both the different password and the centrify zone. So in the next video, we're going to review evidence. So evidence from the workflow request all the way to the activity and the session.